We're talking about hair and makeup for your San Francisco City Hall wedding. Specific timeline for doing your hair and makeup when you have that early morning appointment at City Hall. City Hall opens at 8 o'clock. People that are very savvy like to start their photos at 8 o'clock in the morning.
My studio, it's about 15-minute drive, counting backwards from there, including parking, walking time. I usually like to get them ready by 7:15 the latest.
You want to start your photos at 8. That doesn't mean arrive at 8. Or like a 7:30 goal time to arrive at City Hall. What time are brides sitting in your chair?
For my bridal appointments, they're usually always 3 hours. It could go into 3.5 hours. I also buffer in like 15 minutes for them to get into their dress. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes for getting ready, hair, makeup, plus getting in your dress. That means if I want to have them out the door by 7:15 from my studio, they're starting at 4 a.m. They're waking up at before 3 a.m. 4 a.m. is a general start time.
Let's say the scenario is that they're in one of those, hotels in the main hotel area in San Francisco. What time are you arriving to their hotel room? One bride getting ready.
I would say my studio location is very similar in distance. You're still dedicating probably like 15 to 20 minutes driving. In terms of how early I would get there to their hotel room, I would usually buffer about 10-15 minutes to set up. If they come to my studio, I don't have to set up because I will set it up prior. Yeah, I'll probably get there around 3:50.
3:50, that's when you're arriving. And
latest, yeah.
So you mentioned that the bride would maybe need to be up a little bit before you arrive. What are the sorts of tasks that she might need to complete before you even rock up?
So typically this is how it is. Like they're barely awake. I always suggest that everyone washes their hair and exfoliates their face. So you don't have to do all that morning. Make sure your hair is completely dry so the hair holds much better during the actual wedding day. If there's a lot of humidity still left on the scalp and in the hair, then it often will fall, especially if you're going out to do any photos afterwards. Like San Francisco wind is no joke. I think we all know that for having worked in the city. Basically, make sure their face and hair is prepped and primed for getting their hair and makeup done that morning most efficiently.
From a purely photography perspective, which I know is a little selfish, I love to see styles with the hair off the face. Firstly, for that iconic ceremony shot, the hair is falling in front of the face, and it's a real shame to me that I can't see their face during the ceremony. And also with the intense wind in San Francisco, that can be a real problem when hair is flying all over the place. Are there any types of hairstyles that you tend to recommend?
So I always feel like when I'm communicating with my bride, getting their inspiration photos is for me more about what makes them feel comfortable and beautiful, because if they don't feel beautiful, it's going to show on their faces. And I'm sure it's going to show in their photos. And I know that doing an updo is probably the most secure for photography. Wind isn't going to really mess with it that much. Most of the time when I am doing a downdo, photographers would suggest them to do at least a half up. So I think that is a good compromise for people who want that face framing to feel more comfortable. Sometimes girls are just their harshest critics and they feel like their faces are big, they don't like feeling kind of matronly. Some people just are used to seeing themselves in a certain way. So I'm not somebody that forces anyone. People who want to have their hair fully down, I do warn them that there is a possibility their hair might straighten out. It might get really tangly, like if there's really strong winds next to the water. Some girls are like, I don't care. I do not like my hair up at all. So